Thank you, President Tokayev and colleagues. Once again, I would like to welcome all of you, both members and guests, participating in the session within the SCO Plus format. I believe the interest in the SCO activities is directly related to the basic values and ideals of our association, such as our commitment to pursuing a sovereign and independent policy while aspiring to search jointly with other countries for collective solutions to problems. This is something everyone in the world is sharing right now. Our association has always been based upon due regard for the opinions of as many countries and partners as possible, as well as the inalienable right of every country to choose their own development model. Right now, the SCO is one of the largest regional organizations, as mentioned by the chair. It accounts for almost 50% of the world population and around 25% of the world GDP. It concentrates significant intellectual and technological potential, as well as a large share of the world's natural resources. The SCO's active participation in multilateral cooperation along different avenues is something we see a growing need for amid the current difficult political climate, which sees fundamental shifts ongoing in politics and economics. The world is truly becoming multipolar, and an increasing number of countries are willing to resolutely fight for their legitimate rights and interests. We see the emergence of new centers of power, and the SCO is establishing itself as one such center. That's why we believe the theme suggested for our discussion is very relevant, namely strengthening multilateral dialogue, striving towards sustainable peace and prosperity. It reflects the very essence of what the SCO has been doing since its establishment back in 2001. I refer to its efforts aimed at building an atmosphere of security and trust in our common Eurasian region. In that regard, we are grateful for the concrete and sincere proposals submitted by the SCO member states in terms of settling the Ukrainian crisis, which arose as a result of the absolutely unceremonious and reckless policy pursued by the US and its satellites. As it's well known, Russia has never refused and is still willing to engage in peace talks. It's Ukraine that refused to engage in peace talks, and it did so publicly at the direct behest of London. And there is no doubt that means the order came from Washington. The Ukrainian public officials say that openly and directly. The Istanbul Accords, for which I'm grateful to the President of the Republic of Turkey, President Erdogan, who acted as an intermediary, are still there. Those accords were initialed by the head of the Ukrainian negotiating team, and that means Ukraine was more or less okay with them. The Istanbul agreements are still on the table and can be used as groundwork for resuming the talks. The SCO member states coordinate their actions on the international track, particularly at the UN Forum. They stick to close or similar foreign policy approaches. Within the SCO, together with the business community, we are actively promoting trade, economic, investment, and financial cooperation. It is quite telling that against the backdrop of a decline in many advanced economies, in 2023, the average GDP of the SCO countries rose on average by 5.2%, whereas industrial output rose by 4.5%, and inflation stood at a mere 2.4%, which is a very good indicator. We continue to steadily deepen our cooperation in energy, infrastructure, food security, high-tech and innovation, digitalization, and AI. The SCO is taking active steps to build and enhance supply chains, logistics, and mutual settlement mechanisms. They are also building more efficient transportation corridors that bind the continent together from north to south and from west to east. We are certainly interested in engaging in other SCO projects, and we are also interested in other countries engaging in those projects. The Business Council, Interbank Consortium, and the Forum of Heads of Regions are also open to such cooperation. The SCO members have traditionally had great respect for historical cultural values as well as civilizational diversity, and this is precisely the foundation upon which we are expanding contacts between people and building our cooperation in science and technology, education, healthcare, and sports. We have our Youth Council, civil society, and volunteer organizations. So, in practical terms, the SCO has a lot to offer in terms of experience to any country that is interested in and willing to cooperate. Our organization is also willing to accept any constructive contribution to its activities and take on everything of value that our partners have to offer. I'm confident our today's mission will be useful and help improve friendly relations between all the countries present here. It will help intensify our cooperation along different avenues. Thank you for your attention.